Scene 27, the Hall of Guardians. A guardian was never chosen to stand above others. A guardian was chosen to stand between destruction and those who could not yet defend themselves. Frontier Archives, Guardian Codex. The corridor beyond the Guardian Path widened once again. The crystalline walls gradually disappeared behind immense circular columns rising into darkness. The chamber ahead dwarfed every builder structure Zandor had encountered since entering the mountain. It was neither a city nor an archive. It was something older, a place built not to preserve knowledge, but to remember those who had carried it. As Zandor crossed the threshold, the guardian symbol beneath his armor pulsed once. The entire chamber answered. Thousands of faint blue lights awakened together, not brightly, respectfully, like candles quietly illuminating an ancient sanctuary. He stopped. Before him stretched an avenue unlike anything humanity had ever recorded. Rows of towering crystalline alcoves extended into the distance. Each alcove contained a single suit of armor. No two were alike. Some stood nearly 3 meters tall. Others appeared built for beings no larger than children. Some bore flowing crystalline robes. Others resembled heavy battlefield exoskeletons. Every civilization that had once answered the builder call had left something behind.
They were all guardians.
The builder guide did not answer. It simply continued walking. Every few steps, another alcove illuminated as they passed. Not displaying weapons, not displaying victories, only names, histories, lives. The builders had never celebrated conquest. They remembered service. The first alcove brightened completely. An unfamiliar world appeared above it. Twin suns, silver oceans, floating mountain ranges suspended beneath vast clouds of luminous crystal. An elegant figure stood beside the armor, not alive, a preserved memory. The Guardian belonged to a civilization whose name no longer existed in any surviving human archive. Yet the builders had remembered, not because they had changed history, because they had protected others while history continued. The image bowed its head, then slowly dissolved back into light. No speech, no ceremony. Its story had already been lived. Its duty had already been fulfilled. Another alcove awakened, then another. Each revealed a different civilization, different worlds, different skies, different species, different histories, one purpose. The Guardians had never belonged to one empire, never to one species, never to one age. They belonged to every civilization willing to protect life instead of ruling it.
They weren't soldiers.
The builder guide stopped. It slowly turned. For the first time, its harmonic resonance carried unmistakable understanding. Not soldiers, caretakers, witnesses, protectors. The Guardian symbol translated each idea with growing clarity. The builders had never measured greatness by victory, only by what remained alive because someone had chosen compassion over power. Zandor continued walking. Hundreds of Guardian chambers surrounded him. Some armors showed scars from impossible wars. Others appeared untouched. Not because they had never fought, because their greatest victories had prevented battles from beginning at all. The chamber itself seemed endless. History stretched in every direction. Entire civilizations forgotten by time still quietly remembered here. The silence within the hall carried weight, not the silence of emptiness. The silence of remembrance. Every Guardian preserved here had completed a journey whose ending no longer belonged to history, only to memory. Zandor continued between the towering alcoves. His footsteps echoed softly across the crystal floor, yet they were no longer alone. Around him, thousands of quiet harmonic tones drifted through the chamber. Not voices, echoes. Every Guardian had left behind a resonance unique to their life. Together they formed a living chorus that no single civilization could ever have created.
They're still here.
The builder guide inclined its head, not confirming, not denying, only inviting him to understand. The nearest alcove illuminated once more. Within it, a massive armored being stood nearly 3 meters tall. Its armor bore deep fractures repaired countless times. Across its chest rested a symbol unlike any Zandor had seen, not a military insignia, a family crest. The preserved memory awakened. The giant guardian knelt before a group of frightened children sheltering beneath shattered stone. No enemy appeared, no battle unfolded, only one enormous figure quietly standing between danger and those unable to defend themselves. The memory dissolved, another alcove brightened. This guardian wore no armor at all, only flowing robes woven from shimmering crystal threads. Around them stood scholars, artists, teachers. The guardian never drew a weapon. Instead, they protected the knowledge of an entire civilization while war raged beyond the walls.
So being a guardian was never just fighting.
The harmonic resonance answered, gentle, certain, protection, guidance, sacrifice, memory, hope. One concept remained stronger than all the others: choice. The builders had never forced anyone to become a guardian. Every one of them had chosen the burden freely. That choice made all the difference. Farther ahead, one alcove remained completely dark, unlike every other chamber. No light emerged, no memory awakened. Its crystalline doorway remained sealed.
What happened here?
The builder guide stopped. For the first time since entering the hall, it did not continue forward. The guardian symbol beneath Zandor's armor pulsed slowly. The chamber around the sealed alcove remained silent. Even the surrounding harmonic chorus seemed reluctant to approach. A single fragment of meaning reached him. Lost. Another followed. Unfinished. Then silence. No memory appeared. No explanation followed. Only the sealed chamber remained before him. Whatever guardian had once stood there, their story had ended differently. The realization unsettled him. Not every guardian had succeeded. The builders had preserved failure alongside triumph. Nothing had been erased. Nothing rewritten. History remained honest.
They remembered even those who failed.
The builder guide slowly raised one hand. The sealed alcove remained closed. Some memories were not yet ready to be opened. Beyond the hall, another immense doorway gradually illuminated. Unlike the others, its surface bore no symbols. Only a single line of ancient builder script stretching across its center. The guardian symbol translated only 3 words: the first promise. The guide looked toward the doorway, then quietly stepped aside. The next choice belonged to Zandor alone. Zandor remained before the sealed chamber. The words still echoed quietly within his thoughts. The first promise. Not a command, not a warning. A promise. He slowly approached the immense doorway. Unlike every builder structure he had encountered so far, its surface reflected nothing. Not the chamber, not the blue light, not even himself. The polished crystal absorbed every image, leaving only silence.
What promise?
The question faded into the vast chamber. No answer returned. Instead, the guardian symbol beneath his armor pulsed once. The doorway answered. Across its smooth surface, tiny lines of pale blue light appeared. At first they seemed random. Then they slowly connected, one line, then another, until an enormous star map emerged across the entire doorway. Zandor immediately recognized Kheros, not because it had been labeled, because every illuminated pathway converged there. Around Kheros, hundreds of other worlds glowed, some brightly, some only faintly. Many had already fallen dark. The builder guide watched silently. It did not point toward the surviving worlds, nor toward those that had vanished. It pointed toward the connections between them. The guardian symbol translated another fragment. Never stand alone. Another followed. Every world strengthens another. The luminous pathways brightened. For a brief moment, Zandor no longer saw stars. He saw civilizations, trade, learning, exploration, artists, scientists, families, entire cultures exchanging ideas across unimaginable distances. Then one connection disappeared, another. The network slowly fractured, not because worlds vanished, because they stopped listening to one another. The surviving lights became isolated. Fear replaced curiosity. Borders replaced cooperation. Knowledge became guarded instead of shared.
It wasn't the darkness.
The guide turned.
It was division.
The harmonic resonance grew stronger, not agreement, recognition. The Guardian had begun reaching the conclusion himself. The Builders had not fallen because one enemy proved stronger. They had become vulnerable when their connections disappeared. The doorway slowly changed again. The star map dissolved. Another image appeared. A single Builder standing beside a human. Neither carried weapons, neither wore armor. They simply looked toward the stars together. The image remained only seconds before fading. No explanation followed. Only another question.
We knew each other.
The guide remained silent. Some truths could not be given, they had to be discovered. The Guardian symbol pulsed one final time. A narrow passage opened beyond the great doorway, smaller, older, far less magnificent than the hall behind him. Yet somehow it felt more important. Above the entrance, Builder symbols slowly illuminated. The Guardian symbol translated them with growing clarity. Origins. For the first time since entering the hidden Builder world, Zandor felt something he had not expected. Not fear, not excitement, humility.
I'm only beginning.
The passage beyond the doorway disappeared into darkness. Whatever waited there had remained hidden longer than any memory preserved within the Hall of Guardians. Behind him, thousands of Guardians watched in silence. Ahead, history waited to reveal its oldest secret. The word remained suspended above the passage. Origins, not carved, not projected. The crystal itself remembered it. Every pulse of blue light seemed to breathe through the ancient Builder symbols, as though the mountain refused to let them be forgotten. Zandor stood motionless. He had entered the hidden world beneath Kheros, searching for answers about the Builders. Instead, the mountain continued asking questions. Questions that reached far beyond Kheros, far beyond the Dominion, far beyond humanity itself.
If I walk through there, there's no going back.
The Builder guide neither encouraged nor discouraged him. Choice, always choice. That single principle had remained unchanged from the first crystal road to the deepest chamber beneath the mountain. Slowly, Zandor crossed the threshold. The Hall of Guardians faded behind him. Not because it disappeared, because another memory had become more important. The passage narrowed dramatically. The towering chambers gave way to smooth crystal walls that curved gently around him. The blue light dimmed, not fading, softening, almost respectfully. Unlike the great halls before, nothing here had been built to inspire awe. Everything had been built for reflection. The floor beneath his boots changed once more. Instead of polished crystal, it resembled weathered stone, simple, unfinished. Its surface bore the marks of countless footsteps, not thousands, millions.
People walked here.
The Guardian symbol answered with a quiet pulse. Not people, Guardians. He knelt beside one of the worn impressions. It matched neither Builder anatomy nor human anatomy exactly. Some footprints were broad, others narrow. Some belonged to creatures walking upon two legs, others upon four. One even suggested wings had once folded beside it. Every civilization that accepted the Builder calling had walked this same passage. Every Guardian had stood where Zandor now stood. Everyone had faced the same uncertainty. The realization carried unexpected comfort. For the first time since arriving on Kheros, he no longer felt alone. Ahead, the passage opened into a quiet circular chamber. Unlike the Hall of Guardians, it contained almost nothing. No armor, no memories, no preserved figures. Only a single stone table standing beneath a shaft of pale blue light. Upon the table rested one object, small enough to fit within both hands. Dark, unremarkable. Its surface reflected no light.
That's it?
After everything he had witnessed, the simplicity almost disappointed him. The Builders had crossed galaxies, preserved civilizations, constructed impossible worlds, yet the chamber before him contained only one small object. The Builder guide stopped beside the table. For the first time since entering the mountain, it did not look toward Zandor. It looked toward the object. Its posture carried unmistakable reverence, not for power, not for technology, for meaning. The guardian symbol translated another fragment. The first gift. Zandor stepped closer. The object resembled neither crystal nor metal. It appeared carved from a dark stone, unlike anything found upon Kheros. Its surface was warm, not from energy, from age, as though countless hands had held it before his. Around its edges, tiny symbols had been worn smooth by time. Only one remained clearly visible. 3 concentric circles surrounding a single vertical line, the same symbol the Builder Elder had entrusted to him.
You've carried this for all of them.
The guide slowly nodded. Not every guardian had received a weapon. Not every guardian had received armor. Every guardian had first received a promise. The object remained upon the table. The guide made no movement toward it. No invitation, no instruction, only silence. The choice once again belonged entirely to Zandor. Far above, morning would eventually return to Kheros. The Dominion would continue searching for Builder secrets. The Ashari would continue waiting. General Vorak would continue watching. None of them yet understood that beneath the mountains, the future of every civilization had narrowed to one simple decision: whether one man would reach forward or walk away. The chamber remained perfectly still. No hidden mechanisms awakened. No brilliant light filled the room. The builders had never relied upon spectacle, only meaning. The small object rested quietly upon the stone table. It did not call to him. It did not tempt him. It simply waited, just as every archive had waited, just as every guardian before him had once stood waiting. Zandor slowly removed his glove. The cool air touched skin still marked by the wounds of Kheros. Small cuts crossed his fingers. The scars of recent battle remained visible. Nothing about the builders erased the past. They expected every guardian to carry it.
So this is where it began.
His hand moved toward the ancient object. Not quickly, not hesitantly, deliberately. Every movement carried the quiet understanding that another choice was about to shape history. His fingertips touched its surface. Warm, not warm because of energy. Warm because countless guardians had once stood exactly where he now stood. The object remembered them. Instantly, the chamber disappeared. Not into light, into memory. The silence surrounding him transformed into distant voices carried across impossible ages. Not speaking, laughing, children, families, teachers, travelers, entire civilizations living ordinary lives. The builders had preserved something rarely remembered by history, not the great moments, everyday life. A young child reached toward the night sky. An older guardian knelt beside them, pointing not toward stars, but toward another child standing nearby. The lesson carried no words, yet Zandor understood. Before anyone could protect worlds, they first had to learn to protect one another. The memory changed. A storm crossed an unfamiliar world. Families hurried toward shelter. One guardian remained outside, not to fight, to guide every frightened traveler safely home. No glory, no celebration, only quiet responsibility. Another memory followed. An ancient library burned. Scholars carried knowledge into safety while one guardian stood at the entrance alone, not to preserve buildings, to preserve understanding. The memories flowed, one after another, never showing conquest, never showing victory celebrations. Only service, quiet, patient, almost unnoticed by history.
They never wanted to be remembered.
The chamber answered with gentle harmony. No, they wanted others to survive long enough to remember themselves. The realization struck him more deeply than every builder revelation before it. The guardians had never protected the builders. They had protected possibility, the chance for another civilization to become something greater than fear. The small object within his hands slowly brightened. Not with blue light, with soft white light. Its surface opened like a flower unfolding beneath morning sunlight. Inside, one tiny crystal rested at its center, no larger than a single tear. The builder guide stepped forward for the first time since entering the chamber. It looked not at Zandor, but at the crystal. Its posture carried unmistakable respect. The guardian symbol translated one final fragment. The promise remembers every guardian, then another. The guardian remembers every promise. The tiny crystal floated gently upward. It stopped before Zandor, waiting, just as every builder choice had waited, without command, without expectation, only trust. Far beyond Kheros, far beyond Dominion space, something stirred once again within the ancient darkness. Not because the builders had awakened, because a promise had been accepted. The Hall of Guardians remained silent. Its countless memories watched without judgment. Every guardian before him had once faced this same moment. Now it belonged to him. The tiny crystal hovered silently before him, no larger than a tear. Its white light neither dazzled nor dimmed. It simply existed, steady, patient, waiting. Zandor looked toward the builder guide. The ancient figure remained perfectly still. It offered no gesture, no instruction, no expectation. Every choice within the builder world belonged to the one who made it, never to those who had come before.
You still trust us?
The guide lowered its head, not because humanity had earned that trust, because every guardian began as an unknown. Slowly, Zandor extended his hand. The tiny crystal drifted gently downward until it rested upon his open palm. The instant it touched his skin, nothing happened. No surge of power, no overwhelming vision, no transformation, only warmth. The same quiet warmth he had felt throughout every builder archive. The builders had never believed greatness arrived in a single moment. It was carried one choice at a time. The crystal slowly dissolved into countless particles of light. They flowed gently across his hand, along his arm, across the guardian symbol beneath his armor, then disappeared completely. Nothing remained, no visible mark, only understanding. The guardian symbol glowed once, brighter than ever before, not because it had grown stronger, because it had become complete. The chamber answered. One by one, every guardian alcove illuminated. Thousands of soft blue lights stretched into the distance like stars awakening across an endless night. No applause, no celebration, only acknowledgement. Another guardian had accepted the promise. The builder guide slowly stepped backward. Its crystalline body became increasingly transparent. Its purpose here had ended. The hall no longer required a guide. The promise itself would now lead the guardian.
Will I see you again?
The guide smiled. The first true expression Zandor had witnessed upon its face. Not joy, not sadness, peace. Then it dissolved into light, not vanishing, returning to the countless memories surrounding the hall. The chamber grew quiet once more, yet the silence no longer felt empty. Every guardian who had come before seemed present, not watching. Walking beside him, the great doorway beyond the hall slowly opened. Unlike every previous passage, warm golden light spilled gently through the opening. Not blue, not white, the color of sunrise. Beyond the doorway, the first rays of morning reached into the hidden builder world. Somehow the mountain itself had opened to the dawn. Zandor stepped forward. As he crossed the threshold, the Hall of Guardians slowly dimmed behind him. Not because its story had ended, because another had begun. Far above, the sun rose over Kheros. Its light touched the crystal forests, the mountains, the rivers, the Ashari village, even the distant Dominion encampments. Neither side realized that beneath their feet, history had quietly changed forever. The frontier archives would later record that no great battle marked the beginning of the Guardian Age. No empire proclaimed it, no fleet witnessed it. It began when one weary peacekeeper accepted a promise made thousands of years before humanity first reached the stars. And somewhere, far beyond the waking world of Kheros, the ancient darkness stirred once more. Not in anger, not yet, but for the first time in countless ages, it had something to remember. End of part 2, continues in part 3.